Ay, ay, ay. I feel oh so pretty. I feel pretty. Are we good? Yeah, I'm good. I didn't click once.
I know. I was the one. I was flipping my pen around.
Yeah, I can't do that like over the thumb.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I usually just go like this.
I usually like whoop, 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 whoop. Not very well. Mm-hmm. Okay, ready to do this? You're doing the intro. Okay. Okay.
I think you're stupid, and I think it's the best book I've ever written.
I'm gonna hate you if you actually believe that.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are Loud Library. I am Jacob.
I'm Dantes.
And today is going to be kind of one of our year in reviews videos. We're probably going to try to do these once a year.
Yes.
And this is going to be the best of what we read this year.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily a best of all time or like a top 10 favorites video, but it's of what we read this year, what did we like the best, what stood out to us.
And we're not including rereads on this. So, but we will talk about one book that should be here, but it is a reread for both of us.
I have two that are.
Oh, okay.
Well, like the one you're talking about, and then I have another one. That was
okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but the one he is talking about is The Goblin Emperor.
Goblin Emperor!
We both love this book. It's my favorite book. Or my favorite fantasy book at the very least. But we're not including it here because it is a reread. Even though we did reread it this year, it was
5 stars.
It wasn't the first time we read it. We're trying to limit this to the first time we read it. And as such, The Grapes of Wrath is not going to be on my list.
Okay.
Because even though it was kind of like a fresh read for me almost, I had read this before back in school.
So let's give a little recap of what each book is about. So,
sure.
Goblin Emperor is a story about Maya, who is a half goblin boy, half elven boy, that he is the fourth and estranged son of the Emperor. His father and 3 of his brothers all die in an horrific accident, and he gets brought out from his
Obscurity, out of exile.
Into courtly life, and it's all about him maneuvering the political machinations of the empire and dealing with just kind of like his new role.
And it's about leading with kindness and like being a good person will show you the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that book, obviously 5 stars. And then Grapes of Wrath for you.
Yeah, and so Grapes of Wrath is about a family during the Great Migration back in the 1920 or 30s. I don't remember the exact date. But it's about this family who has to pick up and leave their home, and they head to California for the hope of finding work and a better life, and just the kind of struggles that they face in that, and trying to like hold everybody together in this family. And it is just it's a incredibly touching, moving story. One of my favorite books.
I am going to be reading that, so that I will read it probably after Easter Beating, but I'm looking forward to reading that as well.
Hell yeah. Do you have any more honorable mentions?
I do have.
Okay,
I have 3 honorable mentions.
I have one more also.
Okay, cool. So you did one. One of my honorable mentions that I can't quite put it on the list is Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It is the ultimate revenge story. It follows Edmond Dantes as he wrongfully gets imprisoned, and then his escape and him seeking vengeance. Excellent book, 5 stars. Loved it. It is quite a chonker of a book. But I loved it. I was engaged the entire time. Everything that happens in that book has a purpose to it, even though like you're kind of like wondering what's going on. It all has a purpose to it, and I loved it incredibly.
Okay. My last honorable mention is going to be The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Oh. Okay.
The reason I'm not including this is because it's a short story.
Okay.
It's like 20 pages. And even though I really loved it, and I love what it does in that time, I'm not including it here just because
short story.
It's not going to stack up to like novels and
Okay.
stuff.
Cool. I actually haven't heard of that one, so like the fact that you mentioned that it was a short story, I'm like, okay, that
one,
makes sense.
The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas is one I will give you where I'm like, this is just it's like a thought experiment. It's not really like a short story. It's like a thought experiment.
When it's a thought experiment as a short story,
closer to an essay than it is a short story.
I'm more apt to enjoy that, or at least like appreciate it more as a short story or like an essay.
Well, then I would recommend you try it out. Yeah.
Awesome. My last two the last 2 honorable mentions that I have. The first one is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I love that book. I just recently read it, and it captured me completely. All these books that I'm mentioning are 5 stars for me. Secret History is like the grandmommy of Dark Academia. It follows a boy named Richard who comes from a more urban, poor background, and he goes into college life in Vermont and tries to get into a very niche group of people that are all studying ancient Greek language. And it follows him and 5 other students plus their professor as it starts off at the start of it that the 6 friends kill one of their own, and it reads like a Greek tragedy or a Shakespearean play where you know what happens and you're just there to watch the downfall of these people and how it led to this point and their eventual downfall. And I absolutely loved it. It's so pretentious, and the fact that it just leaned in heavily into that with its writing and just how the characters acted, behaved, and it was perfection for me. I really like that book a lot. And the last honorable mention that I have is Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett. It is the last book of the Death subseries in Discworld. I love that book, and I love Discworld, and that book was just. It wasn't my favorite of the Death subseries, but it really kind of captured everything that I love about Discworld, and especially the Death subseries, with the characters and the story and just the themes that it touches upon. So with that out of the way, we're going to go into our top 5 best books. And let's start off with number 5, and we're going up to 1.
Yeah, so my number 5 is going to be City of Thieves by David Benioff.
Nice. You read that this year. I
did read that. I read a lot of the books that I had in my top 10 were a lot from this year.
Same with me.
But I haven't been reading for quite that long.
Okay.
So, City of Thieves by David Benioff. This is kind of based on a true story of his grandfather's experience in World War II in Leningrad during World War II. I think it's modern day St. Petersburg, I think.
Okay.
And it is during this time where there is a incredibly devastating famine going on in the area.
Food supplies are scarce.
And food is very hard to come by. Basically, this very young man living in the city at this time kind of gets in trouble. And there's this general who is I will excuse what you did if you can find me a dozen eggs to make a cake for my daughter's wedding. And just such an incredible, chaotic story ensues.
Yeah, I actually am excited to read that. I picked it up a while ago, and it just won our book club, so I'm excited to read it now in this month. So hopefully by the time this video comes out, I've already read it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
My number 5 is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Moutar. 5 stars. Again, it is a science fiction / romantasy or romance story. It follows 2 opposing factions in this time war. Red and blue is how they're known. One is more, I guess, technological, and the other one's more natural in their existence and what they represent.
Yep.
And they're leaving it. The story is told in these love notes that they're sending to each other back and forth in this time war at different periods and different planets and such. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the writing, and it just it resonated with me. The way they kind of were coy with each other, playful with each other, the language that was used. It was great, and I absolutely enjoyed it. A lot of people, it's very divisive because I think a lot of people go into it with the wrong expectations. Luckily, I kind of knew that this was more a love story than it was a science, a time war story. So, with that, I absolutely loved it. It's my number 5.
Awesome.
Your number 4.
My number 4 is The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. So this follows a scientist. This follows this very brilliant scientist who comes from this anarchical type society. Basically, he kind of becomes disillusioned with his society a little bit. Goes to this neighboring planet where he encounters a very capitalistic society. And then over the course of the book, he kind of increasingly becomes he kind of sees some good in it at first, and then increasingly becomes disillusioned with that as well. And it's he doesn't quite know where he fits in. And then he also has this very revolutionary theory that kind of both societies and other people kind of really want to get their hands on. And I know this is one of the books that you criticize Le Guin's Sci-Fi a little bit. I think you would say this one's probably a little better with the narrative aspects.
Yes. I will say that I didn't particularly enjoy this book. I thought it was fine. It wasn't, I guess with sci-fi, I am looking for themes, but I'm also looking for narrative, and I do agree that the narrative in this was a lot better than the other book that won't be mentioned. But yeah, it just didn't resonate with me for certain reasons, but I didn't not like this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really loved it. I thought it was a great book. I found a lot of, I think, connection with the main character in the kind of disillusionment he has, and he can't really find a place.
Yeah.
In either world that he has.
And I agree with that. I think it's a good story for that, and it's definitely good. Like, kind of thought experiment that you kind of take away. You come out of it like with good, like, I guess, ponderings. Mm-hmm. All right, that was your number 4. My number 4 is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is another recent read for me. This is another 5. Yeah, very recent read for me. It is another 5 stars. I absolutely love this. This was great. It follows a young woman who ends up courting a affluent, aristocratic young gentleman who was recently widowed from the title character Rebecca. It follows this young woman as she kind of like is brought into his lifestyle, brought into his home, and her having to deal with the long shadow that Rebecca has cast while she was alive. Mm-hmm. And her feelings of inadequacy, her feelings of trying to manage her new marriage with this gentleman, her dealing with the servants of this estate, and his friends and his life and everything. And I just absolutely loved it. It was so atmospheric. The character work was great, and I was engaged right from the get. And I'm just trying to figure out what's the deeper, there was something there that you could feel that there was something that was just out of your head, you wanted to get more, you wanted to find out what was going on. And Rebecca, great. Number 4, 5 stars, just great.
Cool.
Your number 3.
So my number 3 is going to be Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut.
Ooh, okay, yes, I remember when that was brought up.
This is a kind of like absurdist, I would say like pseudo science fiction book.
Yes,
it is almost, it's like semi-autobiographical of Kurt Vonnegut's time in World War II, mm-hmm. but essentially it does follow a kind of fictional character who becomes a prisoner of war during World War II, mm-hmm. and is in Dresden during the Dresden fire bombings.
Okay.
And the book is told in this kind of strange way. The main character describes himself as unstuck in time. Yeah. So they're kind of, from their perspective, they're experiencing time like out of order almost. Mm. So you'll get a section of them in kind of modern day of the time it was written, kind of arguing with their daughter, and then you'll get a section of them in the prison camp in Dresden, and then you'll get a section of them being kept in an alien zoo and forced to mate with a porn star.
Okay.
It's a very weird book, but I think it's a very poignant book about kind of the stress and trauma that these people went through. Especially the edition I read had a very, very... No, I think it might be in all the editions, but I'm actually not sure. Mm-hmm. The edition I read had an almost non-fictional chapter 1.
Oh, okay.
Where he kind of talks about the idea for the book and how the...
Like a forward?
Almost, okay. But it's like chapter 1. Yeah. And he talks about kind of the idea for the book. He talks about talking about it with a friend who was also there, who was mm-hmm. also a prisoner of war, and his wife, the friend's wife. And he talks about kind of how the original title of the book came around. I think it was The Children's Crusade was the original title.
Okay.
And now it's kind of like a subtitle. Or it's kind of like you'll see some of the books labeled like Slaughterhouse-Five or The Children's Crusade.
Just like Mistborn or The Final Empire.
Yeah. And yeah, I really love the book. I think it's great. I think everybody should at least give it a shot.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I wasn't able to make that book club, but I eventually do want to read it, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's very short. All of his books are pretty short. I think none of them are over 350 pages. But
awesome. Sorry, I can't.
I know, but I know you were looking at me like say something about it.
That was your number 3, right?
Yes, so it's yours.
My number 3, fingers, My number 3 is Confessions by Kana Minato. It is a short story. I mean, it's not a short story, but it's a shortish book. Another 5 stars for me. It's a translated work. It is told in a weird perspective. I think it's told in second person for a good chunk of it. I'm not sure if it's throughout the entire series, the entire novel.
All the times you've talked about this book, I feel like this is the first time I'm hearing that.
That's why Kissed DNF'd it, is because it was kind of having that rhetorical conversation with her students.
Okay.
But it kind of has a second perspective.
Okay.
But yeah, it follows. The story is about a tragedy that strikes a classroom where the teacher loses their child, and she's telling the story of why she's resigning from her post. And the rest of the chapters, each chapter is told from a different perspective of either someone that was affected by her retirement or her resignation, or implicated / privy to the actual what happened throughout in the tragedy. And it was the entire story. I was gripped. I was horrified. I was shocked. I was intrigued. I wanted to know more. I wanted to find out what was going to happen, and just seeing kind of how these characters dealt with the situation or the tragedy. It was great, and I absolutely loved it. Everyone that I've kind of recommended it to, except for one person, has rated it 4 stars or higher, and I absolutely loved it. It was a recommendation to me from Sherilyn and Tabitha, and I thank them for it because I love this book.
Awesome.
That's my number 3.
Okay.
Your number 2.
Yes, my number 2 is going to be Radiance by Catherine M. Valenti. This is a kind of brand new author that I discovered this year. This is the only book by her I've read, but I absolutely fell in love with it. I'm going to read more of her.
Cool.
So Radiance is kind of set on this alternate Earth where we went to space much sooner. And
in the 20s.
Yeah, and it kind of affected a lot of. It affected a lot of stuff,
the world,
but it's also like the planets and stuff are different and stuff.
Cool.
They're all in the same place and stuff, but they're kind of different.
Okay,
it's very interesting. And then it's also basically another aspect of the kind of alternate Earth is that silent films last a lot longer than they did in real life because Edison kind of hoarded the patent for audio recording.
Okay.
And he wouldn't let anybody else have it unless they paid him an egregious amount of money.
Oh wow.
So silent films are a really big thing.
Okay.
So the book is kind of told, it's told in a very interesting style where you're getting a lot of different snippets of people's life and people's perspective.
I have a question. Is it set in the 20s, or is it set in that time, or is it they just went to space in the 20s and now it's more closer, or in the future?
I can't remember
because you're saying Edison if he's the actual character still alive.
I can't remember for sure.
Okay,
but in the book, one of the characters is Edison's great grandson or
something.
So it's not back that far, but yeah. And the book kind of centers on this young woman who is a documentary filmmaker in this time, and she's kind of very beloved, kind of, and she's the daughter of a very famous film director.
Okay,
but he does films, not like documentaries.
Okay,
she's a documentary filmmaker. She dies. She's presumed dead.
Okay,
but there's a lot of mystery around her death, and you get different people's perspective kind of around her. So you get these kind of recordings. It's a book, so you're reading it, but there's these recordings of her father talking to a friend, talking about a movie he wants to make about her, but he doesn't know how to do it. So each section of the book, they're oh no, maybe the movie should be a noir detective movie, and then you get a short story that's about in a noir detective style about what happened, but it's meta fictional. Kind of. And then the next section of the book, they're no, this isn't really landing. What if it was this almost like fairy tale-esque children's movie, and you get a little snippet of that, but then you also get government interviews with her boyfriend, talking about what happened when she went missing, and talking about their connection with each other. You get diary entries from her 5th stepmother about stuff. It's such an interestingly made book, and there's this really cool cosmic element that comes into it, and it's such a great book, and I think everybody should give it a try.
Yeah, I have it on my TBR. I want to read it just because of how enthusiastic you are about this book, so I have it there for sure.
V read it and liked it.
Yeah, she did.
I think
she reads a lot of books. So.
But also, V gave it like a 4-star. But sometimes for V, that's like, oh,
That's
this book was
great.
incredible, and sometimes V's just like, I liked it.
Awesome. That was your number 2. My number 2 is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I read this at the beginning of this year. Right now on Talking Story, they are currently reading it along with John because he's been wanting to read it and he's been recommended it so much. I was recommended this book, I think mostly on To the Ramble, but also by our friend Kendall because she loves this book. It follows these 2 characters as they leave Lonesome Dove with their crew and their cattle to go to uncharted or unclaimed territory up in, I think, Minnesota or up north, Midwest of the country. And it kind of talks about, it's a lot of character work, and it's like their adventures as they go up this and everything that kind of goes along with it. There are great characters in there. There are deplorable characters in there, and it is so good. I didn't expect myself to enjoy this book as much as I did. I've been reading Cormac McCarthy this year, and this book was just by far and away like my favorite. I am actually going to be continuing on with the series soon, and I'm going to be hopefully going through all 4 books of the Lonesome Dove series. I love it, and I can't wait to have everyone else in Talking Story and all these people talk about it and read it because it was such a great book. That's my number 2. Your number 1. Number 1.
Yes, number 1, my favorite book I read this year is going to make you upset. It was Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb. This is the 14th book in Realm of the Elderlings.
Okay. I mean, if it's a good book, I'm going to enjoy it. But if it's like your number 1 book in Farseer, I'm going to be upset. You're counting.
I'm trying to see. I think it's the 14th.
Okay. I believe you.
How many books? There's 16 of them, right?
Yeah, there's 16, yes.
Then I think it's the 14th.
Okay.
I absolutely love this book. This book, I mean, it's the 14th book in the series. I've made it this far. Yeah. I'm kind of predisposed to loving it. But this book does so many great things. This book, I feel like I felt the most emotion for Fitz that I have in the entire series.
Wow.
And this book introduces something new to the story that I didn't see coming. And the chapters that it gets introduced in blew my mind, and I adored them.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty big spoiler, so that's why I'm being very vague.
Good. I don't want to hear about it.
It is, the chapters like 9 to 11 might be my favorite section
of the
entire series. Yeah. I loved it so much.
I am so happy for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, I'm going to be continuing on with Realm of the Elderlings. Depending on how I feel with Live Ship, I will most likely not continue with the series because I hear it's...
Here's what I'm going to say. I think you're going to like Live Ship. Even if you love it, I don't think you should keep going.
Thank you. All right, you're a good friend. I appreciate you for taking care of my mental. I'm glad that was Fool's Assassin?
Fool's Assassin, yeah.
Fool's Assassin.
What was your number 1?
My number 1. And I know, I hope you get to it.
I didn't really talk about what it was about, but it's the 14th book in the series. I can't really talk.
If you are reading it, you already know what's going to happen. My favorite book, and I'm cheating here because, again, I did it with the top 10 because I'm not sure. On either day, it could be either of these.
Okay.
Right, like today, I'm feeling a little bit more the second one. But it is Memories of Ice and Toll the Hounds by Stephen Erickson. It is book 3 and book 8 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. Malazan has got me in a chokehold, and I cannot tell you how much I love this. Every time I hear someone else starting this series, I get super excited. Every time someone references this series, I get super excited. I see the book being hauled in the channels, and I love this series so much. The broad strokes of this series, Malazan Book of the Fallen, you kind of follow different perspectives in this Malaz world, or Malaz universe, where you're following either the Malazan army, you're following people that they're going up against, you're following different parties that are affected by the current occupation or colonialization of the Malazan Empire. And there's a broader overarching story of the gods being involved with some sort of like grand evil that could possibly ruin the world. In books 3 specifically, you're back on Genebakis, which is the original continent in book 1, and you're following the continuation of the story from book 1 and the Malazan army kind of dealing with this greater evil that has all of a sudden risen, and it's no longer Malazan army versus the current inhabitants of the continent. It is the Malazan army versus this new player that's come in to encroach upon the continent and also like bring about death and destruction as well. The 8th book, you're back in Genebakis and you're back in the original city in the first book, and it kind of ties up a lot of loose ends that were introduced in the first book. A lot of people say that Malazan is very complicated to get into, or a very complicated book. I agree that it's not a book that I would recommend for brand new readers in fantasy, but I don't think it's overly complicated. You will be confused because a lot of times they will mention something in passing or reference something in passing, and it won't get paid off, or it will be then later mentioned and then tied off in later books. But it's so good. I love this series so much, and the writing that Erickson has and his philosophical like themes that he brings in, and a lot of this existentialism and the camaraderie between these characters, and it's just all lovely. And Malazan as a whole is one of my favorite series. So I highly recommend, please get into Book of the Fallen. First book is Gardens of the Moon, and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, awesome. But
yeah.
All right. Well, that's the list. So
that's our top 5 list.
Thank you. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. If you made it all the way to the end, let us know in the comments who has the better list.
Of course, it's going to be me, because you have Robin Hobb on your list. So it's like, I have Malazan on mine. It's like, great.
Do we want to look at how many? Do we want to look at how many reviews the first Malazan book has versus how many reviews the first Rope book has?
You know what? I don't even want to get into it. I don't even know the answer to it. But let us know whose list you like better. Let us know what your top 5 is, or what you consider your top 5.
Yeah, or just your favorite thing you read this year. Just one is fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. And have a good one. Peace.
Have a great and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think this is going to come out pretty late in the
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Bye. Bye, guys. Peace.